A modern drugstore is, honestly, much more than just a simple shop selling medicines. It stands at this crucial intersection, serving two equally important roles. On one hand, it's a vital healthcare hub, a primary point of contact for patients looking for relief, advice, and those essential medical products. This role, demands a deep commitment to clinical excellence, patient safety, and ethical practice. Pharmacists are trusted professionals who make sure individuals receive the right medications and actually understand how to use them safely and effectively. Their guidance can, quite frankly, be the difference between a successful treatment and a negative health outcome, so the responsibility is really immense. At the same time, every pharmacy operates as a commercial enterprise. To survive and thrive in such a competitive market, it has to be managed with sharp business acumen. That means making sound financial decisions, managing inventory efficiently, and developing strategies to attract and retain customers. The business aspect, honestly, ensures the pharmacy's long-term sustainability, allowing it to continue providing those essential healthcare services to the community. Without profitability, the shelves would empty, the doors would close, and the vital link in the healthcare chain would be broken. This dual identity, it requires a unique blend of skills balancing care with commerce. The challenge for any pharmacy manager is to harmonize these two identities. Decisions can't just be about profit margins, but you also can't ignore the financial realities of running a business. For example, stocking a life-saving but rarely used drug might not be profitable, yet it's an ethical necessity. Conversely, offering popular over-the-counter products helps maintain financial health, which in turn supports the ability to stock those less common critical medicines. This delicate balancing act is, honestly, the very essence of pharmaceutical management, where success is measured not just in revenue, but also in community health and well-being. So, understanding the principles of pharmaceutical management is fundamental for anyone entering this field. It's about learning how to run a successful business without ever losing sight of the core mission to provide safe, effective, and accessible healthcare to everyone. This chapter will lay the groundwork for mastering this balance. We'll explore the foundational concepts that enable a pharmacy to function effectively as both a trusted healthcare provider and a resilient commercial entity, setting the stage for a deeper dive into the specific operational and strategic skills needed for excellence in this demanding profession. The Indian pharmaceutical ecosystem is, honestly, a vast and intricate network, and it's characterized by its dynamic nature and complex regulations. For a drugstore to operate successfully in this environment, it really needs a deep understanding of the entire supply chain. This chain actually begins way before the pharmacy shelf, starting with the sourcing of active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. These are the core chemical compounds that give a medicine its therapeutic effect. From there, the journey continues through manufacturing, distribution, and wholesaling before a product finally reaches the retail counter. Each step is governed by its own set of rules and economic forces. This ecosystem demands a unique fusion of clinical insight and business intelligence. A pharmacy manager has to evaluate the quality and reliability of drug manufacturers while also negotiating prices and managing logistics. They need to understand the market dynamics that influence drug availability, from seasonal demand spikes for flu medication to global events that affect API supply. For instance, a manager must anticipate the increased need for anti-malarial drugs during the monsoon season, or plan for potential shortages caused by international trade disruptions. This kind of foresight is, honestly, critical for ensuring a consistent supply of essential medicines for the community. Every decision made within a drugstore reflects a broader understanding of this complex interplay between patients and profit. The choice of which brands to stock, how to price them, and how to manage inventory levels is a strategic one. It involves analyzing supplier credentials, tracking sales data, and staying informed about new medical guidelines and market trends. Managing the flow of goods, from the wholesaler's warehouse to the pharmacy's shelves and finally into the hands of a patient, requires meticulous planning and execution. This is what ensures that the right medicine is available at the right time and at the right price, meeting both health needs and business objectives. In this chapter, we'll begin to unravel this complex system. We'll explore how different parts of the pharmaceutical industry are classified and how they interact with one another. We'll also examine the commercial functions that keep the supply chain moving, from finance and logistics to marketing and trade. By understanding the foundational principles that govern this ecosystem, you'll be equipped to make informed, strategic decisions. This knowledge is really the first step toward becoming a proficient manager who can confidently navigate the challenges and opportunities of running a modern Indian pharmacy, ensuring both its commercial success and its invaluable contribution to public health. In the complex landscape of the Indian economy, industries are systematically categorized to better understand their structure, function, and regulatory requirements. One of the most fundamental ways to classify them is by ownership. This distinction separates entities based on who controls and operates them. Public sector enterprises, for instance, are owned and managed by the government. A key example in the pharmaceutical domain is the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, or IPC, which is responsible for setting the official standards for all drugs manufactured and marketed in India. These government-run bodies prioritize public welfare and regulatory oversight over pure commercial profit, forming the bedrock of national health standards and policy implementation. On the other side of the spectrum are private sector industries, which are owned and managed by private individuals or groups. This sector is driven by competition, innovation, and profitability. In the pharmaceutical world, private enterprises range from massive multinational corporations like Sun Pharma to smaller, independent drugstores. These companies are the primary engines of drug development, manufacturing, and distribution, constantly striving for market leadership. A third category, the joint venture, emerges when public and private entities, or domestic and international firms, collaborate. The partnership between Biocon and Mylan is a prime example, combining resources and expertise to tackle global health challenges and expand market reach. Beyond ownership, industries are also classified based on the scale of their investment, especially under the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, or MSME Development Act. This classification is crucial because it determines eligibility for various government schemes, subsidies, and preferential policies. A retail drugstore, with its specific level of investment in equipment, inventory, and premises, typically falls into the micro or small enterprise category. This status isn't just a label, it provides access to financial support, simplified regulatory compliance, and other benefits designed to help smaller businesses grow and compete against larger corporations, ensuring a diverse and resilient economic fabric. Understanding these classifications is essential for any pharmacy manager. Knowing whether a supplier is a public, private, or joint venture entity can provide insights into their operational priorities, pricing structures, and reliability. For instance, a government-run supplier might offer standardized pricing, but have more rigid procurement processes, while a private giant may offer competitive rates, but demand larger order volumes. Similarly, recognizing your own business as a micro or small enterprise empowers you to leverage specific government support systems. This knowledge is not merely academic. It's a practical tool for strategic sourcing, financial planning, and navigating the broader industrial ecosystem effectively. Another vital framework for understanding the industrial landscape is the sectoral classification, which divides economic activities into three main categories: primary, secondary, and tertiary. This model really helps illustrate the flow of goods and services from their raw origin to the final consumer. The primary sector involves the extraction and harvesting of raw materials directly from the earth. In the context of pharmaceuticals, this includes the cultivation of medicinal plants for herbal remedies, or the extraction of natural compounds that serve as precursors for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. This sector forms the foundational layer of the entire pharmaceutical supply chain. The secondary sector takes the raw materials from the primary sector and transforms them into finished or semi-finished goods through manufacturing and processing. This is where the core of the pharmaceutical industry resides. Companies in this sector synthesize APIs, formulate them into final dosage forms like tablets, capsules, and syrups, and package them for distribution. These manufacturing units are the critical link that converts raw chemical or biological substances into safe, effective medicines. A retail pharmacy does not operate in this sector directly, but its entire inventory is a product of the secondary sector's complex and highly regulated manufacturing processes. Finally, the tertiary sector, also known as the service sector, is concerned with providing services rather than producing goods. This sector encompasses a wide range of activities, including transportation, finance, healthcare, and retail. Retail pharmacies are a quintessential example of a tertiary sector business. They do not manufacture the medicines they sell. Instead, they provide the crucial service of making those medicines accessible to the public. Their function is to procure finished products from the secondary sector, manage their inventory, and dispense them to patients along with professional advice and counseling, thereby completing the final step in the healthcare delivery chain. For a pharmacy manager, this sectoral understanding is indispensable. It clarifies the pharmacy's position within the larger economic system and highlights its interdependence on the other sectors. A disruption in the primary sector, such as a poor harvest of a key medicinal plant, can lead to shortages and price hikes in the secondary sector, which in turn directly impacts the pharmacy's supply and costs. By recognizing that their retail operation in the tertiary sector relies heavily on the stability and efficiency of primary and secondary sector partners, managers can better anticipate supply chain vulnerabilities, diversify their suppliers, and make more resilient business decisions. Within the vast pharmaceutical landscape, industries are often classified based on their core activity, which basically defines their role in the medicine production lifecycle. One of the most fundamental types is the active pharmaceutical ingredient, or API, producer. These companies, like Divi's Laboratories, are highly specialized chemical manufacturers. They focus exclusively on the synthesis of the core molecules that actually provide a drug with its therapeutic effect. Their work involves some pretty complex chemical processes, super stringent quality control, and large-scale production to supply the raw materials needed by other pharmaceutical companies. These API manufacturers really form the foundational source of the medicinal power in every tablet, capsule, or injection that eventually reaches a patient. Moving down the supply chain, we find the formulation companies. These industries take the raw APIs and transform them into finished, consumable medical products. Companies like Dr. Reddy's Laboratories are experts in this area. Their role is to combine the API with other inactive substances, known as excipients, to create a stable, effective, and safe dosage form. This could be a tablet, a syrup, an ointment, or maybe an injectable solution. Formulation involves sophisticated technology and really precise measurements to make sure each dose delivers the intended therapeutic outcome. These companies are responsible for the final product that a pharmacist dispenses and a patient consumes, so their quality standards are absolutely paramount. A distinct and significant segment within the pharmaceutical world is made up of herbal and Ayurvedic producers. These companies operate under a different regulatory framework, often governed by the Ministry of Ayush in India. Instead of synthetic chemicals, their focus is on creating remedies from natural plant-based sources. They handle everything from the cultivation and harvesting of medicinal herbs to their processing and formulation into traditional medicines. These producers cater to a growing demand for natural and alternative therapies, offering a different but equally important stream of healthcare products for the pharmacy to manage. For a drugstore manager, understanding these distinctions is just so critical for effective procurement and inventory management. Sourcing from an API producer isn't really a direct activity for a retailer, but knowing the reputation of the API source in a particular formulation can be a good indicator of quality. When dealing with formulation companies, a manager has to assess their manufacturing standards, product range, and supply chain reliability. For herbal products, it's crucial to verify Ayush compliance and make sure the supplier follows quality standards for natural ingredients. Each type of supplier presents unique considerations, and a manager must adapt their sourcing strategies to ensure a diverse, high-quality, and reliable inventory. Another crucial way to classify pharmaceutical industries is based on their market strategy and the type of products they sell: generic or patented drugs. Patented or innovator drug manufacturers are companies that invest heavily in research and development to discover and create entirely new medicines. This process is incredibly long, really expensive, and honestly, it's fraught with risk, often taking over a decade and costing billions of dollars. When a new drug is successfully developed and approved, the company is granted a patent, which gives it exclusive rights to manufacture and sell that drug for a specific period. This exclusivity allows them to recoup their R&D investment and fund future innovations. In stark contrast, generic drug manufacturers enter the market after a drug's patent has expired. These companies produce bioequivalent versions of the original innovator drug. This means their products contain the same active pharmaceutical ingredient in the same dosage form and strength, and are proven to work in the same way in the body. Because generic companies don't have to bear the massive costs of initial drug discovery and clinical trials, they can produce and sell their versions of the medicine at a significantly lower price. This competition drives down healthcare costs and makes essential treatments more affordable and accessible to a wider population. From a pharmacy manager's perspective, both types of manufacturers are integral to a well-rounded inventory. Stocking patented drugs is often necessary to provide patients with the latest, most advanced treatment options, especially for complex or rare diseases. These products are often prescribed by specialists and can be a significant source of revenue despite their higher cost. However, they also require careful inventory control due to their price and sometimes specific storage requirements. Building a good relationship with innovator companies ensures access to new therapies as soon as they become available, keeping the pharmacy at the forefront of healthcare. At the same time, generic drugs form the backbone of a pharmacy's offerings. They are essential for providing cost-effective solutions and are frequently prescribed for common, chronic conditions. Managing generics involves selecting reliable manufacturers that adhere to strict quality standards, ensuring their products are truly equivalent to the original. The lower cost of generics allows for better price competition and improved affordability for patients, which builds customer loyalty and trust. A skilled pharmacy manager must strategically balance their inventory between patented and generic drugs, adapting to prescribing patterns, patient needs, and pricing dynamics to optimize both patient care and business profitability. Pharmaceutical commerce ensures medicines move efficiently from factories to patients, overcoming vast distances and logistical challenges. Trade in this context is divided into internal, domestic, and external, international categories. Internal trade splits into wholesale and retail stages. Wholesalers buy large quantities from manufacturers, break them into smaller lots, and supply retailers. This system allows local pharmacies to access a wide range of products without huge investments. Retailers, like your neighborhood pharmacy, buy from wholesalers and sell directly to patients, providing essential advice and ensuring proper storage. While most focus on internal trade, international trade, importing and exporting medicines, impacts prices and availability even at the local level. India exports medicines globally and imports specialized drugs and raw materials. Even if a local pharmacy doesn't export, global trade dynamics affect what's on its shelves. Understanding this supply chain is crucial for effective pharmacy management. Trade in pharmaceuticals relies on a network of support services called auxiliaries to trade. These include finance, banking, insurance, warehousing, transportation, and marketing. Banks provide loans and credit, ensuring smooth financial transactions across the supply chain. Warehousing and transportation bridge the gap between production and patient, maintaining medicine quality and availability. Insurance protects against losses from theft, fire, or damage during transit. Marketing, through medical representatives and promotions, creates awareness and drives demand. Each auxiliary plays a vital role in keeping the supply chain resilient and efficient. A pharmacy manager must coordinate these services to ensure uninterrupted medicine supply. Effective use of these aids prevents shortages and financial losses. Leveraging these systems builds a profitable and reliable pharmacy. Mastery of these support systems is key to successful pharmaceutical commerce. Pharmacies operate on the basic economic principles of supply and demand. Supply is what manufacturers and distributors offer. Demand is what patients need and can buy. Seasonal trends and doctor prescriptions drive demand, while global shortages can limit supply and raise prices. Pharmacy managers must anticipate demand spikes, like flu season, and adjust inventory accordingly. Price elasticity measures how demand changes with price. Essential medicines have inelastic demand. Patients need them regardless of price, so prices are often regulated. Non-essential products like supplements have elastic demand. Customers may switch brands or skip purchases if prices rise. Understanding elasticity helps managers set fair prices and maintain trust. Smart pricing and inventory decisions keep the pharmacy financially healthy. Balancing these economic forces ensures both access and profitability. Economic principles guide daily pharmacy operations, especially inventory management. The goal is to stock enough medicine to meet demand without over-investing in slow-moving products. Tools like economic order quantity, EOQ, help determine optimal order sizes to minimize costs. Managers use sales data and seasonal trends to forecast demand and adjust inventory. This prevents both stockouts and losses from expired products. Profit planning involves analyzing all costs and setting prices to ensure sustainability. Sometimes, profits from high-margin products subsidize essential but less profitable services. Effective inventory and profit management keep the pharmacy viable and patient-focused. Applying these concepts ensures shelves are stocked and care is accessible. Economic know-how is essential for long-term success. Management, administration, and organization are distinct but interconnected functions in a pharmacy. Administration sets the vision, policies, and long-term goals, defining what the business aims to achieve. Management executes these plans, translating strategy into daily actions and guiding staff. Organization provides the structure, defining roles, responsibilities, and workflow. In a pharmacy, administration might set a goal to be the most trusted provider in the community. Management implements this by training staff and ensuring excellent service. Organization arranges people and resources for efficient operations. Each function supports the others, creating a cohesive and effective business. Clear understanding of these roles ensures smooth operations and goal achievement. Together, they form the backbone of successful pharmacy management. In small pharmacies, one person often handles administration, management, and organization. The owner sets the vision, manages daily operations, and structures the team. As administrator, they decide the business model and long-term direction. As manager, they supervise staff, negotiate with suppliers, and resolve customer issues. As organizer, they define roles, schedule shifts, and optimize workflow. This blending of roles requires strategic thinking, hands-on leadership, and systematic planning. Effective leaders switch between these functions to keep the pharmacy running smoothly. Mastering this interplay ensures growth, efficiency, and community service. It's this dynamic approach that defines successful pharmacy leadership. Management is a multifaceted discipline, often described as both an art and a science, a duality that is particularly evident in the dynamic environment of a pharmacy. Management as an art relates to the application of personal skills, creativity, intuition, and experience to achieve specific goals. In a pharmacy, this artistic aspect is visible in the way a manager designs the store layout to create a welcoming and efficient customer experience. It is in the subtle skill of communicating with a distressed patient, showing empathy while providing clear instructions. It is also found in the instinctual decisions made when negotiating with suppliers or motivating staff, where a human touch and practical wisdom often lead to better outcomes than a rigid formulaic approach. Simultaneously, management is a science because it relies on a systematic body of knowledge containing general principles and theories that can be universally applied. This scientific dimension of pharmacy management involves the use of data, analytics, and established operational models to make informed decisions. For instance, Managers use scientific inventory control methods like economic order quantity and FIFO or FEFO to minimize waste and ensure product availability. They analyze sales data from their pharmacy software to identify trends, forecast demand, and optimize their product mix. This data-driven approach removes guesswork and helps in running the pharmacy efficiently, profitably, and systematically, ensuring consistency and reliability in its operations. The true essence of effective pharmacy management lies in the masterful blending of these two aspects. A manager who relies solely on scientific principles might create an efficient but cold and impersonal environment, failing to connect with patients or inspire their team. On the other hand, a manager who only uses their artistic intuition without grounding their decisions in data may struggle with profitability and operational consistency. The most successful managers are those who can use sales data, the science, to decide which products to stock, while also using their creative skills, the art, to display those products in a way that attracts customers and enhances their shopping experience. This synthesis is what transforms a standard drugstore into a thriving healthcare hub. For example, science dictates that certain fast-moving drugs should be easily accessible to the pharmacist, but art dictates that the patient counseling area should be positioned to offer privacy and comfort. Science provides the tools for financial analysis, but art guides the manager in investing profits back into community health initiatives that build long-term trust and loyalty. Therefore, mastering pharmaceutical management requires developing both the analytical mindset of a scientist and the creative, people-oriented skills of an artist to navigate the complex challenges of the profession successfully. Beyond being an art and a science, management, especially in the pharmaceutical field, has evolved into a distinct profession. A profession is, characterized by several key attributes. It requires a specialized body of knowledge, formal education and training, a representative association, a code of conduct, and a commitment to service over personal gain. Pharmacy management clearly fits this description. To become a pharmacy manager, one must possess specialized knowledge, not only in business and administration, but also in pharmacology, drug laws, patient counseling, and healthcare ethics. This knowledge is typically acquired through formal education, such as a degree in pharmacy, either B.Pharm or D.Pharm, followed by practical training and continuous professional development. The existence of professional bodies and a strict code of conduct further solidifies pharmacy management's status as a profession. Organizations like the Pharmacy Council of India, or PCI, regulate the practice of pharmacy, setting standards for education and professional conduct. Pharmacists are bound by a stringent ethical code that mandates they prioritize the well-being of the patient above all else. This includes responsibilities like maintaining patient confidentiality, ensuring the accuracy of dispensed medications, providing proper counseling, and adhering to all legal requirements for handling and selling drugs, such as those specified in different drug schedules. This commitment to ethical practice is, honestly, a hallmark of a true profession. The service motive is another core element of any profession, and it is deeply embedded in the role of a pharmacy manager. While a pharmacy is a commercial enterprise that needs to be profitable to survive, its primary purpose is to serve the health needs of the community. A professional manager understands this and balances business objectives with their duty to provide accessible and reliable healthcare. This means ensuring essential medicines are available, offering fair pricing, and dedicating time to patient education, even when these activities do not directly maximize profit. The trust that the community places in a pharmacy is built upon this professional commitment to service. Therefore, viewing pharmaceutical management as a profession elevates the role beyond a simple job or business operation. It frames the manager as a highly skilled, knowledgeable, and ethical professional who holds a significant responsibility within the healthcare system. This professional status demands a continuous pursuit of excellence, a dedication to lifelong learning to keep up with medical advancements, and an unwavering commitment to the ethical principles that govern the field. It is this professional identity that ensures pharmacies are not just stores, but pillars of community health, managed by individuals dedicated to the welfare of their patients. The entire pharmaceutical ecosystem revolves around a fundamental triad: the drug, the medicine, and the store. Understanding the distinct role of each component and how they interface is essential for comprehending the flow of healthcare products. The journey begins with the drug, which is the active pharmaceutical ingredient, API. This is the pure chemical substance responsible for producing a specific therapeutic effect in the body. It is the core warrior against a disease, but in its raw form, it's often unsuitable for direct consumption. The drug is the foundational element, the result of complex chemical synthesis or biological extraction. The drug is then transformed into a medicine. This transformation is the work of formulation science. A medicine is the final, finished dosage form that a patient actually uses, be it a tablet, capsule, syrup, or injection. It contains the drug, or API, combined with various inactive ingredients known as excipients. These excipients are crucial. They might serve as binders to hold a tablet together, solvents to create a liquid formulation, preservatives to ensure stability, or coatings to control the drug's release in the body. The medicine is the carefully engineered vehicle designed to deliver the drug safely, effectively, and conveniently to the patient. This process converts a raw chemical into a practical therapeutic tool. The final component is the store, or the pharmacy. The store acts as the critical bridge between the medicine manufacturer and the patient. Its role is far more complex than simple retail. It's the point of responsible distribution and professional oversight. The pharmacy is where the medicine is stored under appropriate conditions to maintain its efficacy and safety. It's where a qualified pharmacist verifies prescriptions, dispenses the correct medicine, and provides vital counseling to the patient. The store ensures that the therapeutic potential of the medicine is realized through proper access and guidance. This drug-medicine store interface forms a seamless chain of value and responsibility, making sure that healthcare is delivered effectively. A failure at any point in this chain compromises the entire system. A low-quality drug will result in an ineffective medicine. A poorly formulated medicine might not deliver the drug correctly or could cause harm. And a poorly managed store can lead to wrong medicine being dispensed, improper storage that degrades the product, or a lack of patient understanding that leads to non-compliance. Therefore, a successful pharmaceutical manager must appreciate and oversee this entire interface, ensuring quality, efficacy, and compliance are maintained from the foundational chemical to the final patient handshake. The pharmaceutical supply chain is supported by two indispensable pillars, wholesale management and retail management. While they serve different functions, they are deeply interconnected, and the success of one is heavily reliant on the efficiency of the other. Wholesale management is the critical intermediary link that ensures wide and consistent product availability across a vast geographical area. Wholesalers purchase medicines in enormous quantities directly from numerous manufacturers, creating a central reservoir of diverse pharmaceutical products. Their primary importance lies in their ability to break down these massive bulk orders into smaller, more manageable quantities, making it economically feasible for individual retail pharmacies to stock a wide variety of medicines without having to meet the large minimum order requirements of each manufacturer. The role of the wholesaler is therefore fundamental to ensuring cost efficiency and market reach. By consolidating products from hundreds of different companies, they simplify the procurement process for retailers who can source a multitude of brands from a single point of contact. Furthermore, wholesalers often provide crucial credit facilities to retailers, allowing them to manage their cash flow more effectively by purchasing inventory and paying for it at a later date. This financial support is vital for the liquidity and survival of smaller pharmacies. Effective wholesale management ensures that a steady, reliable, and diverse supply of medicines flows from production centers to the thousands of retail endpoints that serve communities directly. On the other hand, retail management represents the final, crucial mile of the pharmaceutical journey, the direct interface with the patient. The importance of retail management cannot be overstated, as this is where healthcare delivery truly happens. A retail pharmacy, or drugstore, is responsible for much more than just selling products. It is a center for patient care, where a qualified pharmacist provides essential counseling on medication usage, potential side effects, and adherence to treatment regimens. Effective retail management involves creating a trustworthy environment where patients feel comfortable seeking advice. It also includes meticulous inventory control to prevent stockouts of essential drugs and to ensure that all products are stored correctly and are within their expiry dates. The balance between wholesale and retail management is a delicate art that defines the performance of a high-performing drugstore. The retailer depends on the wholesaler for timely supply, competitive pricing, and credit, while the wholesaler relies on a network of healthy retail businesses to move their inventory. Challenges arise in managing this relationship, such as negotiating credit signals, ensuring compliance with documentation and purchase orders and invoices, and aligning inventory locally. Mastering this secret, ensuring efficient procurement from wholesalers while delivering exceptional client service to patients, is the cornerstone of building a resilient, profitable, and highly respected pharmacy in the community. To navigate the world of pharmaceutical management effectively, it is crucial to have a firm grasp of its essential terminology. At the very core of our industry is the active pharmaceutical ingredient, or API. This is the biologically active component within a medicine that is responsible for producing the desired therapeutic effect. It is the pure drug substance, the chemical warrior that targets a specific ailment. For example, in a paracetamol tablet, paracetamol itself is the API. Understanding the source and quality of the API is fundamental, as it directly determines the efficacy and safety of the final medicinal product that will be dispensed to a patient, forming the scientific bedrock of all pharmaceuticals. Building upon the API, we have the term formulation. A formulation is the complete finished medicinal product in its final dosage form, the tablet, syrup, cream, or injection that is ready for administration. It comprises the API along with various inactive substances known as excipients, which are added to aid in manufacturing, stabilize the product, control its release, or improve its taste and appearance. The process of creating a formulation is a sophisticated science that transforms a raw API into a safe, effective, and patient-friendly medicine. For a pharmacy manager, distinguishing between suppliers based on their formulation expertise is key to stocking high-quality, reliable products that ensure patient compliance and therapeutic success. In the commercial context of a pharmacy, a critical distinction is made between over-the-counter or OTC products and scheduled drugs. OTC products are medicines that can be sold directly to a consumer without the need for a prescription from a registered medical practitioner. These typically include remedies for common minor ailments like mild pain, coughs, and colds. In contrast, scheduled drugs are those listed under various schedules of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act and can only be dispensed upon the presentation of a valid prescription. This classification governs how products are stored, sold, and documented, forming a legal and ethical boundary that every pharmacist must strictly adhere to in their daily practice. Finally, within the supply chain, we encounter the roles of the wholesaler and the retailer. A wholesaler is an intermediary who purchases goods in large quantities from manufacturers and sells them in smaller batches to other businesses, primarily retailers. They are a critical node for distribution, providing storage and breaking down bulk supplies. The retailer, such as a community drugstore, is the final link in the chain, purchasing goods from wholesalers and selling them directly to the end consumer, the patient. Understanding this distinction is vital for managing procurement, pricing, and the flow of goods, as the relationship between these two entities underpins the entire distribution network for pharmaceuticals. Beyond foundational terms, effective pharmacy management relies on understanding key operational concepts and regulatory standards that ensure efficiency and safety. Two of the most important inventory management principles are FIFO and FEFO. FIFO stands for first in, first out, an accounting method where the first items placed in inventory are assumed to be the first ones sold. FEFO, which stands for first expiry, first out, is a more critical principle for pharmaceuticals. This system prioritizes dispensing products with the earliest expiration dates first, regardless of when they were received. Implementing a strict FIFO system is paramount in a pharmacy to minimize financial losses from expired stock and, more importantly, to prevent the dispensing of expired, potentially harmful medicines to patients. On the regulatory front, two acronyms stand out as pillars of quality and safety: GMP and NLEM. GMP, or Good Manufacturing Practices, refers to a system of regulations and guidelines to ensure products are consistently produced and controlled according to strict quality standards. It covers all aspects of production, from the starting materials and premises to the equipment and training of staff. For a pharmacy manager, sourcing from GMP-certified manufacturers provides an assurance of product quality and reliability. This certification is a fundamental benchmark that separates reputable suppliers from those who may not meet required standards. The National List of Essential Medicines, or NLEM, is another crucial concept in the Indian pharmacy context. This is a list compiled by the government that identifies medicines essential to meet primary healthcare needs. These drugs should be available within the healthcare system at all times, in sufficient quantities and appropriate dosage forms, at a price the public can afford. Medicines listed on the NLM are often subject to government price controls to ensure their accessibility. A pharmacy manager must ensure these essential drugs are always in stock, as they form the backbone of public health. Finally, for pharmacies that stock traditional and alternative medicines, understanding the role of Ayush is essential. This is an acronym for the Ministry of Ayurveda, Yoga and Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy in India. This governmental body regulates traditional systems of medicine. Products falling under the Ayush category, such as herbal remedies, must comply with specific quality and manufacturing standards. For a pharmacist, verifying Ayush certification on these products is just as important as checking for GMP compliance, ensuring all health products offered are safe, authentic, and regulated. This chapter has laid the essential groundwork for understanding the multifaceted world of pharmaceutical management. We have journeyed through the core principles that govern the operation of a modern pharmacy, beginning with its dual identity as both a vital healthcare hub and a dynamic commercial enterprise. We explored how industries are classified by ownership, investment, and sector, establishing the pharmacy's place within the broader economic ecosystem. By differentiating between API producers, formulation experts, and herbal manufacturers, as well as patented and generic drug companies, we have gained a clearer perspective on the diverse sources of a pharmacy's inventory and the strategic considerations involved in procurement. Furthermore, we delved into the mechanics of commerce, tracing the path of medicines from the factory to the patient and highlighting the indispensable role of auxiliaries like finance, logistics, and insurance. The exploration of economic concepts from supply and demand to strategic inventory control has underscored the importance of business acumen in ensuring a pharmacy's sustainability. We have also clarified the distinct yet interconnected roles of administration, management, and organization, and examined management itself through the lenses of art, science, and a respected profession, emphasizing the blend of creativity, data-driven analysis, and ethical responsibility required for success in this demanding field. This comprehensive overview provides the foundational knowledge upon which all further expertise is built. The key terms we have defined, such as API, FEFO, GMP, and NLEM, are not merely vocabulary. They are the language of a professional who operates with precision, safety, and compliance at the forefront of their mind. Mastering these fundamental concepts is the first and most critical step on your journey to becoming an effective and respected pharmacy manager, capable of navigating the complexities of the industry with confidence and skill. As you move forward, remember that these principles are the pillars that will support every decision you make. They will guide you in balancing the profound responsibility of patient care with the practical necessities of running a successful business. By internalizing these concepts, you equip yourself to not only manage a drugstore, but to lead it, ensuring it stands as a beacon of health, trust, and professional excellence within your community. The knowledge gained in this chapter is your launching pad for advancing your skills and making a meaningful impact in the world of pharmaceutical management.